Once I've snapped it and caught them in that moment of pure truth, I now captured a pure truth of them. If they or their clients can see it, it's purely true. That level of authenticity is like, I want there to be a group mastermind. Let's figure this out, because that's kind of weird. A little bit of my own integrity of what I do is somebody comes in really grumpy, not very nice at all. But my job is to capture them. They're a therapist. My job, my promise, I have to find a photo that capture them as being a warm, inviting, loving person. Of course I do it because I know how to do it. And it's true. It's also cool, and this is what I love. It really is true. It's really inside them, truthfully. I'm not faking it. I just allowed that side of them that's loving, caring, to come to the surface for me to click it. And now it's true because I was having the sense of my own integrity is I'm promoting them as being somebody that I don't see. That's not my job. My job is to do whatever I can to bring out that side of you.
Photography has evolved dramatically over the centuries from the formal daguerreotypes of the 1800s to today's filtered selfies. Throughout this evolution, something has remained constant, our desire to be truly seen. Jon Fisher's career took an unexpected turn when working with middle-aged divorcees on dating profile photography. In these vulnerable sessions, he discovered that truly authentic images possess a unique power to bypass self-doubt and reveal forgotten strengths. What began as a technical exercise in portrait photography evolved into something much deeper, a journey into human psychology and self-discovery.
Wow. You said that so well.
You're welcome. Can you share with us the evolution of your understanding about photography's transformative power, whether it was a specific moment or a gradual or rising realization through multiple client experiences that changed your perspective?
First of all, you did such a great job of explaining exactly what I did. And we had that conversation before, and you really got it. And it's really cool to hear it reflected back to me that way so beautifully. So thank you for that. And I love that for me, it was an evolution of discovery of what was possible for me in my joy of living my life. And it's interesting, prodding me to really go there. My evolution is what happened. So I did photography as a kid and loved it. I did some street photography, and there was something about capturing the truth of what I was seeing that touched me in a certain way that realized, wow, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just something special in me that capturing truth versus contrived, almost like it was everything to me. It was like so valuable to me, and I couldn't put words to it, but it was just something beautiful and loving and dear to me, actually. My first photo that I absolutely loved was a few street folks sitting on a bench. They weren't doing anything. They were just being their street folk people. It was just really weird. They weren't putting on anything for me. And there was something about that. I got a slice of their life, of their truth. It was like, what a freaking gift that I was a kid and I was able to capture that $1 million photo to me. I captured a slice of truth of these homeless people. I wish I had it here to just peek at you. Now, in my career, I really varied career path, not normal at all. Started out with wanting to teach, and it veered off into therapeutic related things for kids. So part of my sense of finding a career was I loved this and I wanted to do something in the healing and the giving realm, not because I was supposed to, but I wanted to. But there was also an element of that's what a job should be. There's some level of givingness to it, but it was still what I loved and what I wanted to do. The reason why I'm saying this, at some point mid-career thing, digital cameras were there. I didn't even consider that as a career because of the cost of going back to school, cost of film developing, learning how to do digital cameras. I know I can learn to some degree on the spot. Just getting the feedback from my own work immediately, something hit me, and literally these words: I get to be a photographer just because I loved it, not for anybody else. It was like I was freed. I get to be a photographer just because I love it. The reason I'm saying this is I started doing dating photography for middle-aged women. A friend of mine was a dating coach. He sent me his clientele, which happened to be that. The first few times I did it, I remember going to bed and I was like, oh my God, I just changed somebody's life. And this happened a few times. And forget about the money I got paid, forget about my photography, but it's almost like I just touched somebody's life. There was transformation that just happened, and I was a part of it. So it felt like I won the lottery, that I got to do this thing that I dearly loved, photography. Also, I got this thing that I really loved too, which was being a vehicle of change with people. It was like, wow. I just dating photography at that point, this was 10 years ago, wasn't a thing. I made it, it became my industry, it became my marketing specifically for that age group. And that's what I was doing pretty much full time, online dating photography for middle-aged divorced people. At some point, I realized that this concept has broader implications, not just dating photography, but any type of headshot photography. And as a photographer, it's a special opportunity for dating photography because it's clearly a vulnerable moment, clearly insecurities. I wonder what the photographer is going to do. It's not a normal picture taking thing. It's almost like a predefined opportunity for there to be some more depth in it. But even in any headshot photography scenario, there's people that are insecure, going to the next level of their work. If it was possible for the photographer to imagine, even just think about it, that, okay, what can I do that can impact this person after the shoot? That somehow they can look at this image and in their life, they're trying to be this. And often that's what's going on when they come for a headshot because they're at a transition. They want to take the next level. Often it's not big money spenders, it's small money spenders. They're making a big investment in a headshot. That's their marketing campaign, is the headshot. So the photographer has this opportunity to create an image that will work for them. There's also an opportunity to wonder, what can I do that can allow this person, when they see the photo, to know they don't have to struggle with their insecurities. Am I really that expert? What's that called? The imposter syndrome about that is known. To know that I am that just by looking at that photo, and what the aspect of the photo is that it's true. There's something I was doing in my shoots. It wasn't a look. It wasn't a posed thing. There's something about it that I instinctually, that's what I love doing anyways. I made certain that even though they're staring at me, waiting for me to click, somehow I worked my magic. So not just any truth, but a specific side of them that they would want to see. I can bring it out and click it before they remember there's that horrible thing called the camera staring in their face. So when I'm capturing these images, it's not just believable. Like my standard is it's undeniable. And it's true. So it's a candid in the middle of a headshot, really. So a candid photo always is believable. You don't wonder that person's like cracking up over there. You don't want, oh, I wonder if they're happy. When you see a candid, there's no question the photographer caught that person in joy. So that level of undeniability mattered to me because we all have our own defenses and our insecurity is not easily penetrated. Like those guards of, no, I'm only this, I'm only that, because this is why. And for some reason, we're adamant about keeping our limitations, honestly. It's really weird that we are, but we are. We know we are. So for somebody to look at a photo that looks really pretty, it's so easy to say, oh, you did such a great job. You are such a good photographer. That lighting sure was good. Wow, I love that dress and that makeup, right? That's one option. But if there's some level of undeniability in the photo, it could be looked at. So that's one option. The other one is looking at the photo and going, oh my God, I didn't know I was that. And I can just feel it and see that person, like, not even just embracing, it's hard to say, but that truth getting in and literally clicking in and changing their own self-perception. Once I saw that happening, it was like, okay, I have to do that. And it wasn't like I have to, I should have to. It was like I get to do that. But I had to do that each and every time I shot. And the funny thing is the clients never really knew that part of it. They didn't really know I was doing that. I didn't tell them, oh, I'm doing this therapeutic stuff so you can feel better about yourself. I just did certain things to allow their amazingness to be on the surface and then captured it while they're being amazing. So that truth of them being amazing was able to be there and for them to feel changed. I didn't really tell them about it. And the side note, the photos actually work better that way because most photographers don't know that when somebody comes to their office, they usually don't think of themselves as a marketer, but they are. Even if somebody's not coming for a branding photo shoot, everybody that's coming for a photo, if it's not a portrait to be hung on the wall, it has a purpose to cause somebody to take an action. It's almost like I'm speaking to photographers out there. Guess what? Your perfect epic lighting isn't going to cause somebody to choose this therapist over that therapist. What will do it is if somebody gets a sense that this person is so loving and open, but they're the expert, that I know I'm going to be helped by them, that combination of loving opening plus expertise, there's something about that. Oh yeah, I think I get them. I think they might be the right fit takes such a basic, important level of capturing a quality headshot, which is important, but the next level of connection, of trust, of believability of who that person is, really is, not just what they look like. That's really what causes the sale. So it ends up the same concept of bringing out truth. It's funny that I'm pausing as I'm saying this because it used to be that I'm saying, this is new for me, just over the last 3 weeks, honestly. Evolution of my world is, I used to be, hey, it really works if you do it this way. And by the way, it could really transform them. It used to be that I said, it will work this way if you do it this way. By the way, it will heal them. Now I realize I'm not going to do that anymore. I really care about is the healing. And by the way, it actually works better if you do it that way. That's it. So that's a new evolution of owning my own truth of this work, why I care about it so much, that it has this multiple level of value in the industry that I want to cause almost like a paradigm shift in the industry, that this element of authenticity is vital, is actually the most important part of the photo. I want to give that to my world.
That's beautiful. That's a powerful shift. Many years ago, when I was working with clients as a photographer, I wouldn't turn up with a camera. I would turn up to see them, to sit with them, to establish a rapport and a relationship with them, and find out more about their story, about their posture, and how they present themselves. That way, I was able to make them feel relaxed. I was able to get a deeper penetration and an optimal grip on their uniqueness, their fears, their hopes, and their aspirations. Working with dating profile clients specifically, was there anything that led to your discoveries about authenticity in photography?
I think that was innate with me. Initially, it was a kind of what you were describing, that deep. I was doing it naturally. I was seeing these women that were feeling so insecure, and I just had this natural ability. I don't know what happened, but for some reason in the middle of the shoot, like my heart opened and allowed me to really see them, their beautifulness, their amazing, all the different sides of them. My own self-judgment just was not there. I was able to truly see them and allow them to be seen. They would trust me that I was not hitting on them. There was no ulterior motive for the shoot. I was sharing what I saw and I was watching them take it in. That was wonderful. And then later on, the same coach said, we need to capture multiple sides of these people. So I literally had to figure out of how do I get different sides of them more intentionally. I had to figure that out for my shoots. It's really interesting. Lately, I've been finding other ways of bringing out that depth and capturing it. I've stepped away from that intimate type of really seeing them, which I loved so much. So now I'm teaching photographers. And honestly, that level of depth I call facilitation. There's light facilitation and deep facilitation. What you did was deep facilitation, and it's really cool that you did that. What I did was deep facilitation. Another facilitation could be, could you remember a time, like for headshots, wanting to get somebody's sense of strength and confidence and expertise, asking them to remember a time when they really saved somebody, either saved their life or to some level, their beingness, whatever they did, impacted somebody so impactfully. And I just asking them to remember that. And while they're going there, they're just feeling it click. And that's to me is a light facilitation. The heavy facilitation is really allowing them possibly during this shoot, they'll be changed. What I was doing, and I know it really impacted them. But then there's all these other things. There's this reaction, distraction, right? There's other ways of accomplishing some level of authenticity that are much simpler. Reaction, distraction, discovery. This person in your studio is in their own world anyways. They're not aware that you have your camera ready. They're just being. And if the photographer isn't ready, they'll miss it. So if the photographer is ready before the shoot to sneak in a photo of them not yet guarded, there's so many different options we now have to accomplish for somebody that maybe it's not the deep kind of person that you seem to be, that you really want. Wow, that's pretty impressive there, Peter, that you went. It really is actually that you made a separate visit to them, get a sense even before you came with your camera. I love that.
Psychologically, all human beings, there's a fundamental need to be seen, be truly seen and recognized. In psychology, we understand this as mirroring. This is the process where we develop our sense of self through how others reflect us back to ourselves. Traditional photography often acts as a distorted mirror, showing us idealized versions that can increase our disconnection from ourselves. What you're describing seems to be a corrective mirroring experience one that helps people reconcile their internal self image with how others perceive them. This speaks to something far deeper than aesthetics because it touches on identity formation itself.
Wow. I love that. I love that. I agree. And I love that there's like a theory behind what I do.
In an industry often dominated by discussion of equipment and lighting schemes and technical prowess, or they call GAS, gear acquisition syndrome, you've charted a different course and you speak of sculpting specific authentic qualities and creating undeniable images that people can't dismiss as just a good photo. That suggests a methodology behind what many might assume is simply catching a lucky moment or having a natural talent. There appears to be more of a systematic approach to authenticity, almost like a science of genuine expression that can be understood, replicated, and taught. Now, capturing authenticity isn't mystical but methodical. Could you walk us through what that methodology looks like in practice?
You're just such a great, I'm just sorry, if you don't mind, you are such a great interviewer. Like you're asking such wonderful questions. I just want to just say that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Really. First of all, there is an entire system, and it's like you get to choose reaction, distraction. So, first of all, before those things, there's three parts in the system. There's many different ways to bring out something genuine. First of all, the photographer is in charge and has to do something to create this candid because authenticity is no longer there because the subject is shut off because of the camera. So it's almost like the photographer is required to bring something back, to be actively participating. It's not what you were describing before is accidentally capturing candid moments. The photographer has to be in charge to make that authenticity appear. There's three different parts of it is bringing something out, and then that's one part, then a certain way to capture it. It's a different way of capturing it. It's not like the wait, click way of normal observation photography, like even photojournalists, because there's no waiting. You're doing the thing. You can't wait. You have to actively shoot a little high volume to make sure you capture that specific thing that really works. Then the sorting, there's a system of discovery. And it's a pretty complicated system. It's a fast system, but intentional system. The correct photo done this way might be captured and completely ignored because if the photographer's not looking, it's a feeling process. Because if what we're creating is a connection thing, there's actually two levels of the sorting of the discovery. One is just going through it and finding and feeling which ones hit you. Simple, feeling from the perspective of their target audience, which is really complicated. So it's a complicated system because you almost have to role play like the therapist situation. Pretend that you're somebody looking for a therapist and looking through the photos from that feeling perspective of which one would work. Part of the system is for the photographer to realize you're not just a photographer, you're a marketer. Think about what your client's target audience would need to see in the photograph, be more likely to say yes to them on every level, on both a physical and feeling, because physical is definitely part of it. For therapists, it's soft lighting, it's different type of clothing, and that's important. But even more on the next level is what could you create or bring out to capture who that person is that would match their audience. That takes a lot of thinking. You might not know. It might be an industry that you're not familiar with. And most photographers don't really think of themselves that way. But it's true. Your client is coming to you for marketing, even though they don't say it. But it's your obligation, in my opinion, to embrace that and to serve them correctly by caring how that photo functions and works and causes their viewers to say yes, because there's something about it that draws them in to say, okay, I like you, I'm going to move forward. That's actually a really big part of the whole thing is really a mindset shift for photographers to not ignore that. All photographers are marketers. The clients think they are. The clients don't want just a pretty photo. If you ask more questions like you do in your own shoots, Peter, what they really want, they want a career shift. They want more clients. They want a next level clientele. They want something to improve their business. That's why they're taking the time and they're investing the money in you. They don't want just a pretty picture. Often photographers, that's what they think they're supposed to do, and it's not true.
What are the telltale differences between an authentic photograph or an authentic image and one that merely appears professional?
You can just tell, actually. So it's interesting. I think it's called Duchenne smile. Something happens in the eyes. It's technical, it's scientific thing, like for a smile. there's something that happens in the eyes. I did some research about it for the course just to find proof that this is a thing. And in the research, what I wrote about it, but it's hard to do intentionally. It's real. And when you know it, it's almost can't be faked when you know it. From my experience, that's what happens. I feel a sense of connection to a real person. For me to even bring up this Duchenne thing, I'm not that photographer that has these words and knows these things in the shadows. I
Yeah.
cared about was realness, and I just went down that path. Super Ice was similar. It's really about the feeling stuff and posing that allows somebody to feel better about who they are. I do what I do. I figured out what I figure out, and somehow it works. I don't necessarily know what it's called. So for me to pull out this name, it was a little bit funny.
In terms of creating or facilitating a safe space so it can be a brave environment for people to become fully self-expressed. Many people are uncomfortable in front of the camera to feel safe enough to reveal their authentic selves. How do you create that environment?
I have a really weird way that I do it, and it's almost bizarre the way I do it. I got in trouble just once because a client didn't know what I was doing. I'm going to do a dance for you. I was in the dance world, and there's this therapeutic kind of dance thing called biodanza, using motion to do healing. Part of it was do a dance of your work. It really does answer your question, actually. The normal photographers, right? That's normally what a photographer does, but this is the way I think of my work. It's all about our interactions. I'm front and center, but not front and center taking pictures. I'm just playing with them. While I'm playing with them, while I'm interacting with them, I'm surreptitiously taking pictures so they're not aware of it. So the way that I create, and I've done this intentionally, in trouble one time with this horrible Google review, but it was intentional. I start shooting while they're walking in the door to my studio, unpacking. Usually for dating photos, they have many different changes of clothing. And as they're unpacking, I am clicking away. They don't know what they're doing. That's very intentional because I want them to know this is different. This is not what you think a photo shoot will be. We're hanging out. We're taking so many pictures. Sometimes I literally put my finger on the button just for the impact of it, not for the shoots, just to let them know it's not the same thing. My real primary thing, I wanted to disarm them. I wanted to let them know it's not what they're afraid of. This is something different. They don't know what exactly it is, but it's not what they were so afraid of. That's my main thing. Like you said, it's not just people. I think you said something about people have issues about taking pictures. They're terrified. Some of my clients are like terrified. They don't just think they're not photogenic. They have proof. They know they're not photogenic. And somehow they made it into my studio. And those are my absolute favorite clients because there's something about the way I work with them. And first of all, like sometimes during the shoot, I said, was that a smile I just saw? Like somehow they're actually having fun during the photo shoot. It's like, bingo, I won. I see that in the photos and I get to be part of that process. That's my joy.
What strikes me about this methodology is how it challenges the cultural narrative around authenticity. Many people think of authenticity as something spontaneous and unplanned. Just be yourself is the common advice. But this overlooks how authenticity can be intentionally cultivated and evoked. It's reminiscent of how great directors work with actors to create conditions where genuine emotion can safely emerge. There's an interesting paradox here. Sometimes the most authentic expressions require the most careful preparation and environmental setting. This reframes authenticity not as the absence of technique, but as technique's highest purpose.
There's so many different parts of it. And like I said in my shoots, I didn't know about the other more light versions of what I did, but the way that I worked, I would first prepare the person for this. I might say something during the shoot. First, I ask permission because it could be a little bit strange. I would ask them permission. Do you mind if during the shoot, is it okay if I speak my truth? If I say something that might feel like I'm hitting on you, I promise I'm not, but I'm just saying things that I see to be true. Is that okay with you? Sometimes I've even had them sign something to make sure that there's no problems going forward. This is what I would say. I might say something during the shoot that's positive, and it's my vow. I use that word intentionally, that It will only be my truth, and it will be what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling. It will not be just for the sake of the photo. I say that to allow them more permission. And I say you have the opportunity to receive it as a gift. I set them up for my interaction with them, and then I watch them. Sometimes I'm looking and shooting, and I make a small awareness of a look in their eye, and I see them changing in front of me. Sometimes it's a personality thing. Sometimes I say the way you interacted with me, I imagine that would be so amazing for a match to have somebody there that would do this thing. Let's say during the shoot, I made some mistake. The camera was not exactly ready. They had to wait 10 minutes. And they said, no worries, Jon. I would intentionally notice that with my camera ready, unlike you did beforehand. I'm doing that on the shoot because I want that immediate reaction. Having a partner like that would be so forgiving and caring. That's amazing. And I'd watch them see that truth about who they were and be changed. I was feeling something and choosing to share it. And that was part of my facilitation. But you asked also the how-to part. There's the setup, bringing something up, capturing it, and then finding it. One of the categories is facilitation. That's the deep side. The other one is asking a simple question. It doesn't have to be so deep. The other one is more complicated, and I had to figure out why it was working. I can promote something to happen, and for a microsecond, they are experiencing a thing. And if I'm able to click while they're experiencing it, it might as well have been forever. Once I've snapped it and caught them in that moment of pure truth, I now captured a pure truth of them. If they or their clients can see it, it's purely true. That level of authenticity is like, I want there to be a group mastermind. Let's figure this out because that's kind of weird. A little bit of my own integrity of what I do is somebody comes in really grumpy, not very nice at all. But my job is to capture them. They're a therapist. My job, my promise, I have to find a photo that capture them as being a warm, inviting, loving person. Of course I do it because I know how to do it. And it's true. It's also cool, and this is what I love. It really is true. It's really inside them, truthfully. I'm not faking it. I just allowed that side of them that's loving, caring to come to the surface for me to click it. And now it's true. And because I was having the sense of my own integrity, is I'm promoting them as being somebody that I don't see. That's not my job. My job is to do whatever I can to bring out that side of you because I can do that with anybody. And it could just take a trick to make that happen. Some of the tricks are just weird. I'm sure you've heard of the Peter Hurley squinch. Have you?
Yeah.
The
headshot guy.
The headshot guy. I took one of his classes, a brilliant guy, and I loved it. I think I go a different level with some of his stuff because the squinch doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. I'm just going to do the squinch here now. It's a combination. It's like lifting up your eyelids. It's weird. It's a tiny smile in the corner of the eye. Let's see if I can do it. I did it now. So I felt it. And for me, what this squinch is, it puts me in a state in front of the camera. If I do it right, I feel it. I feel like I'm the hot shit. When I do the squint right, that's what actors know how to do. I feel I'm the hot shit. So if I do the squinch or encourage somebody to do the squinch, not for the motion in the eyeballs, but to allow them to feel their sense of power, click it, done, that's real. I can't pinpoint what it does, but my sense is whatever I'm doing, it's never a look. I'm creating scenarios, creating things to do that when they're done, something real happens. And that real happens is in the general vicinity of what I'm looking to capture, but it's true. That's the exciting part. When I did it, even just now, I felt like the hot shit. That's what I want my clients to feel while I'm shooting them, or whatever it happens to be. It's an unusual concept of authenticity. It really is. It's almost worth talking about because it's not the normal sense. But my promise is I am literally capturing a sliver of truth purely, right? And that sliver of truth, I don't care how long it lasted, it was true in that microsecond that it occurred. And that's all that matters to me. Once I capture it, it's true because it has this element of it's a candid. It's true. It wasn't done. It was being. It's almost like a candid headshot. So combining candidness with headshots. That's what I did. Pre-COVID, I was always in my studio. It was a safe environment. And I was able to go deep. After COVID, I started doing it almost exclusively on the street. We would have mini shoots in public, and there was less opportunity to have that level of depth. So I had to find ways of capturing that same level of depth with the acquired ways. But There was some level of evolution, but right from the get-go, I had to nail it. In each dating shoot, I would be in the middle of a city and set up a changing area someplace. We'd go back and forth to a different cafe, but there wasn't an evolutionarily staged thing going from one to another in the development of eventually having X, Y, or Z. Each one I had to nail right from the start. That first setup, wherever it was, I had to get something. I had to get some genuine emotional realness there from the get-go, which was interesting. Back in the studio, you're right, that was not the case. It was an evolved thing. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned it, but in the how-to part, there's a list of things: reaction, distraction, facilitation, motion. Motion is one of the things. There's a thing called first look, and it's not the wedding first look. It's the idea that I'm just going to give the first look, motion posing. I actually just recently trademarked that name. It's literally when somebody can be here, right, just waiting for something, the waiting kills it. But if the photographer is shooting in the process of you getting to the pose, it's different. So you watch it right now, Peter, and the audience, to see if you can notice. I'm going to be looking right into the camera, just see if you can notice something different. The first moment of connection, there's life there. It's not like the other stuff where I'm sculpting something specific, but there's life in that first microsecond that is different. The first look is the same concept where I have people look away from the camera, and when they make eye contact, I'm ready for it. It's so fleeting, but in that first moment of contact, it's almost like they're seeing me for the first time, even though I was just there. It's almost like, oh, there you are. There's something of life there. And so reaction, distraction, motion, motion posing, and eye motion and large motion for the subject to move around. Motion allows the subject to be distracted because they're focusing on the motion and forgetting about you for that moment. Half of the work for me is just simply distracting. Two things. It's like distracting them from I'm there and also creating something of value, like creating happiness, power, or strength, whatever it is. Sometimes like I'm on the Ninja and I'm always picking and choosing. Oh yeah, what can I use now? Every client is different. They're going to react differently to different things. So I had to create a catalog of options of how I'm going to work with somebody because it's always going to be different. There's not going to be that opportunity for the facilitation. There just isn't. So I need other options. My dating coach said I was really good at capturing happiness because I'm a goofball, as you can probably tell. And I loved interacting and playing, and while we're playing quick, and I'm getting them being happy, not having a smile on their face, which is two different things. Well, he came to me one day and he said, he's my main lead source. So I needed him. I was doing this for him, for his clients. It was my primary source of income until I did my own marketing. And he said, Jon, the photos you're taking, it looks like these people are looking for a buddy. They're not. They're looking for a romantic partner. Whoa. So it's like, how do I capture romance? At first, it was tricky. For a woman, there's sexiness, and we were both researching and finding different ways. Like for a woman, not necessarily romance, but sexiness, real sexiness, not a look of sexiness. This even works for me. So right now, I'm feeling this thing I'm doing. It's working in some strange way. There's something that happens inside me. I feel sexy. I feel it's romantic.
It's state producing.
What do you say?
It's
state producing. There you go. Then I found some other crazy ways. Do you want to hear one crazy way of accomplishing that? I call it find me with your eyeballs. I don't know how I came up with it. There's this combination of things that is very specific. I do it every single shoot for dating because I know the end result. I hope I'm okay with saying this. It looks like the person being photographed is looking at the viewer as if you're lying in bed after you just made love. The loving, I know you, I love you, that sense of something. And when a person sees it, it looks like they're looking at you and it's, wow, I'm going to click here for sure. It's just really bizarre, but it's constructed bizarrely. Here's the instructions. Look away from the camera, move your eyeballs as far as they can to the corner of your eyes. Right? Yeah, I can't see you. And then lock it in place. They're locked in place. I still can't see you, Peter, but my eyeballs are over there. Put a fake smile on your face, fake smile, and slowly turn your head till you make contact. I felt it, dude. It's weird, and I almost want to apologize. In that first microsecond, there was something real that happened, and that fake smile became genuine. Afterwards, I figured out why it worked, because if the eyes are locked, they're not going to be wandering around. If they're wandering around, the way I would do it is I'm looking around gradually and the impact is way less. There's something about locking them in place, so it's only that first moment that something happens. There's just lots of ways of doing sometimes ridiculous things that somehow produce a state as you describe. However, the state got there, doesn't matter. If it's there, it's valuable and it's true, and I'm going to capture it.
Beautiful. And you can tell when somebody has a full smile or a genuine smile because they're using the zygomatic major muscles that pulls the corners of the mouth
Wow.
upward and outward, and it creates an upward curve of the lips. That's where the Duchenne smile comes from. It hits the eyes, it hits the orbicularis oculi, it contracts around the eyes, and it causes the cheeks to raise. I now remember it was named after Guillaume Duchenne, who studied
Wow.
emotional expression in the 19th century.
That's so cool. To answer your question, but actually back up, you said, why can you tell because of the smile? Sorry, I'm going to say no. For me, and maybe for the world, we're not thinking about it. It's obviously different.
Yeah.
Like a candid smile, there's no question about it. It's not, I wonder if it's candid. I wonder if they're happy. If it's there, there's no wondering that person was happy.
It's a transmissive beacon that you feel like a tuning fork that resonates. If you've got an A tuning fork and that smile is an A tuning fork and you hit them both, they resonate, they act in sympathy and in resonance with each other. So you get that feeling, you get that wave. I'm feeling that. It doesn't really matter how it works, you know, it's genuine.
I love that you have this technical descriptions of what the stuff I do. That's so
Well,
cool.
I want to touch on, because I'm very intrigued by it, the aspect of the work you call healing photography, which is a therapeutic approach that uses the camera lens, not just as a recording device, but as a mirror that reflects back truths we've forgotten about ourselves. In a culture where many of us have complex and often troubled relationships with our own image, I see your photography can be a pathway to self-acceptance. This reframes the act of being photographed from one of judgment and scrutiny to one of revelation and healing.
So cool. It's interesting. Wow, I would like to do that. To be honest, could be a vision of what I would like to do.
Tell me about the concept of healing photography. How does it differ from traditional portrait photography?
I want to answer what you said.
Okay.
I'm going to go right there. So it's controlled authenticity, meaning it's a little bit different, but I almost aspire. It's not like I'm allowing somebody to see their pain and their struggles, whatever. Their self-judgments are true. A judgment is true in that I am judging myself, and that's true. So they can be okay with judging themselves or whatever state they're in and love themselves no matter what. That's how I saw what you just said. What I do is different. And I do this actually all my photography work. Like I'm a bar mitzvah photographer and it's a controlled photojournalistic experience. I'm capturing the joy of the day. I'm capturing the love of the child. I need to capture how loved that person is. I'm capturing specific things. I'm sorry, I didn't capture the grumpy. I didn't capture the anxiety. I didn't capture that. That's not my job. And it's a little bit of retelling the story, retelling the truth. I'm presenting an image of what is true from my chosen truth of what I chose to capture. I'm helping them recreate what they experienced of it being true. And that's my job. It's strange. It's not pure photojournalism. And similarly, this is not pure authentic photography. I'm intentionally wanting to bring out their sense of pride. I'm intentionally wanting to bring out their playfulness to sense that they are a playful person. I'm wanting to bring out their sense of open and caring and lovingness. So my authentic healing stuff is not just a general, I'm okay with whoever I am. It's actually the other stuff. I really want to be this. I think I am that. I could be that. But here's the healing. I am that. My own self-judgments are just judgments. A healing goes to allowing the subject to truly see themselves as being amazing, to truly love themselves, to see themselves in their vision of who they really want to be, and to really experience themselves being that truly right now. That's the healing that I'm going for. In my life, I'm doing that. Honestly, bro, that's my journey as human, is to see myself different way. Even doing this podcast, like seeing myself as this high-level expert at blah, blah, blah. Dude, imposter syndrome, that's hardcore stuff. I'm really not just saying this. I wish I had somebody take my pictures the way that I did. I'm actually teary-eyed saying that. I really am. I'm a little bit choked up saying this because it's really totally 100%. I truly wish I had a me to shoot me and to capture me being that, which I know I could capture me being my amazingness. So I could look at it at the photo of seeing me being amazing. I can see that amazingness while I'm in the middle of my imposter syndrome, struggling to present this to the world. I'm creating a paradigm shift in the photography industry. I'm talking to high level photographers. People like, dude, I don't care how good you are, how known you are, there might be something you're missing. If you're not aware of the healing potential of the work you're doing or the marketing potential of the work you're doing, it's not just a pretty picture. You have the opportunity for profundity and authenticity if you take some time to think about it and try your best to capture it. It transforms the value of a photo. It's no longer a two-dimensional thing. It has life and power. And I'm bringing that to high-level people, not just newbies.
I remember reading you mentioned that authentic images can heal old wounds. Can you elaborate on how the act of being photographed can become therapeutic?
One level is partnering with therapists. For photographers that have know this, they can partner with a therapist. So in a therapy session, often people have self-judgments and people have, I can't do this, I don't have that ability. They don't, it's all crap. That they have various limiting beliefs. And with a therapist, they're working towards getting through that and seeing themselves as that. What if part of a session and all that is getting rid of healing and getting rid of that judgment? That's part of the healing process of, no, that wasn't true. That was just something your mom said or something that the TV said, but it's not true. It's just stuff. It's bullshit. So if somebody has the opportunity to let go of that in terms of healing and to see their own wonderfulness, that's part of a therapy session. It's just own how great they are and to let go of the other stuff. But what if you get to look at a photo, that thing that I wanted a mini me to shoot me, I get to see that guy there as I'm struggling with believing in myself. I get to look at that guy that was me being the expert, being that high level respected authority and remembering who I really am. And that's really what it's all about. And remembering something about truth. And to me, truth is I'm amazing. I'm going to say this almost hesitantly because I don't necessarily believe it all the time, but the truth is that high level of whatever we are inside in every aspect. That's the truth, that we're capable of everything. We're so capable on every possible level. And everything else is way down stuff that we've taken on to think of ourselves in limited ways. If I could get rid of that somehow, just for a second, and to allow the person to be in that state while I'm capturing them, remember who they are at their highest possibility. To me, that could be a significant aid in their healing, in the word healing, more their evolution of seeing the truth of who they truly are. That brings me such joy if I could do that. In terms of healing evolution, healing is like letting go of self-judgment. But it's not the normal healing that we think of in therapy, thinking, oh yeah, my mother did this, I'm going to fix that thing. It's a different process.
What you're describing connects deeply to shadow work, which is the process of reclaiming disowned parts of ourselves. Many people have internalized critical voices about their appearance. They have a distorted perception of their image that originates in childhood or adolescence. Yeah. These voices create what the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung would call a persona, a mask we wear that both protects and limits us. What I see you're doing seems to function as a gentle confrontation with both our persona and our shadow, allowing integration of what has been rejected. It's remarkable how something as seemingly surface level as a photograph can become a portal to such deep psychological territory. This speaks to photography's potential as a tool for individuation, the process of becoming more fully oneself.
Wow, I love it. Yeah. My system that I work with, I know shadow work. I did one workshop with that, and it's really wonderful stuff. The thing I work with that's been a leader in my journey, I don't know if you've heard of access consciousness. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of it, no.
It's another system. A shadow work is a system of how to understand things, and there's lots of different various things that are systems. And this system is really noticing most of our own world and how it limits us in our sense of what's possible.
You turn your observer on.
Pardon me?
You turn your observer on.
Oh, that's interesting. It helps you notice when things are not really you, and then just simple techniques of letting it go. Oh, that's bullshit. And then having this space of what's possible in the process. It's really cool that the work I'm doing as a human, my own evolution, is really merging in this cool way. So I get to talk about my photography happens to really align with my own journey.
Beautiful. I want to talk about authenticity in the digital age because we live in an era of image manipulation. What we can do now with imagery, filters, editing apps, and digital enhancements, they become so commonplace that many people don't trust what we see. Against this backdrop, your focus on authenticity can feel, I don't know if this is the right word, but it can almost feel revolutionary or a counter movement to the artificial perfection that dominates our visual culture. But this authenticity isn't about abandoning technique or returning to some unfiltered rawness. It's about using all the tools of modern photography in service of something genuine. My question is, how do you reconcile the technical aspects of photography, lighting, composition, post-processing with your commitment to authenticity?
I love it. I'm going to ponder it for a second because I really love the question. It's tricky. Maybe that's why it's not a simple answer, especially as AI is happening. Here's one thing I do, one piece of it is this level of authenticity I'm talking about is only possible because of digital photography. The way that I'm shooting, I'm creating a moment. And part of the requirement is you have to shoot a lot of pictures in the middle of it because it's not possible to wait and click with this method. Back in the film days, that's because of the expense of the work of the film. You had to wait and click. You just had to. Otherwise, you could not. There's burst mode, and it's expensive, and it costs you a lot of money. The freedom to capture the breath of a moment. I'm creating a moment and now capturing this breath of it. And in the middle is the gold, the gem of the pure expression of truth. I get to pick that out, reflect back and say, that's you, my friend. That beauty, that truth, that gorgeousness, that's you. I was only able to do that because of the high volume possibility of shooting and the ease of it. It's not costing me more money. It's a memory card and I'm going to fill back up. But the other part, actually, I'm still right in the middle of not knowing how to handle it. Give me a moment just to think about this, if you don't mind. I'm working with an app developer and I have an app that we're working on. And part of the app involved AI. It was like, huh? I don't want to do that. It was a business model that seemed that could be really work for me. It's tricky. And I almost don't even know the answer to it. With AI, we're right in the middle of figuring that out. I almost don't want to say this, but I don't think this is true. If I really care about healing, if that's really all that I care about and not about how it got there, but I just really care about the person. I could, no, I don't even want to say, because I don't think I'd be able to do it. But what I was going to say, and I don't believe in this, I don't think I would ever want to do it. But if I could trick the person to believe that was true, and it would cause a healing in them as they are seeing it as truth, and therefore, oh my God, I can't believe that was me. But I was going to say that could be as good, but it's not. I don't think I can do that. Bottom line is my integrity. I know that I captured truth, period. Even if it happened for a microsecond, I feel confident in my own integrity that I captured truth. I had other various dating coaches that would refer me, and one of them was this person, such a high level of integrity. I just had this conversation with her. These people that come to me, she knows them as a coach. She knows they're a curmudgeon-y kind of person. When I took the photos, she's this wonderful, loving, beautiful woman. Anybody seeing that would see it as true because it was true for those seconds. It wasn't a fake. It was true. I brought out her lovingness, captured it, and said, Karen, what do I do? Am I giving her images that will inaccurately represent who she really is when she's dating? And what's my responsibility there? I really needed to figure that because I didn't know what to do. And her response was, Jon, don't worry about it. It was true when you captured it. And I think that's what I'm okay with. When I do a shoot, I give the client all the photos. In this situation, I'm capturing personality. That's what I'm capturing. I'm capturing true personality, and it can't be me that's choosing the personality that you're choosing to present to the world. I'm giving them all the options of presenting them as the grump, whatever it is, even physically. After I shoot with them, they might be overweight, but they don't look quite at that when they shoot with me. But I also have a responsibility to shoot them to some degree more physically what you generally will look like when somebody sees you. She thought that people were inaccurately knowing what they were getting into. So my sense of integrity is I'm going to give you the breadth of what I'm capable of doing. I'm going to help you pick out pictures, but it's really up to you to make that choice. And I feel comfortable with that.
What advice would you give to someone who feels trapped between the pressure to present an idealized image and the desire to be authentic, especially in contexts like dating profiles or professional headshots?
Good question. You ask such good questions, dude. Okay, here's the bottom line. Whatever the photo does, it only enables somebody to meet you. You can't fake who you are once you meet them. But if you don't have the correct image to present you in the best way possible, you will not have the meeting. Especially for dating, it matters. And don't fake it, but it's tricky. If you believe that you're worthy of meeting that person, you got to do what you got to do, because for dating, it's so easy to swipe by, and only images that do something are going to be the ones that really will impact somebody. If you're really down in the dumps, it's just not going to do something. It's a tricky one. It's almost even for me hard to answer, because I believe in having your dating photos done professionally. I really strongly believe in it, honestly, especially if somebody is capable of bringing out your joy, your happiness. If they have that capability, why not? Actually, I have a course here. It's going to be on the links. I teach single people how to do that, like how to do it on themselves. So they don't necessarily need to hire somebody, but how to capture images of yourself to give you the best possibility that the photos will actually work. It's a tricky question. And a dear friend of mine, she was a little bit overweight. I presented her different ways. You can do that, lighting, angles, whatever. She came to me complaining that people were seeing something different than who she was and were not contacting her again. She thought it was my fault. And I want you to represent me truthfully in the weight that I am, the way that I physically look. So I know that a guy that's going to come meet me will know what to expect and won't be running away because they're not what they were thinking. That's a true thought and a valuable thought. So again, when I work with a client, I don't make those decisions. It's a tough decision to make. I don't even know the answer to it. I have conversations with them to help them. And usually for dating profile photos, usually have 7 photos or so there. And why not? You can have both, actually. But okay, that's actually an answer. I'm giving your viewers an answer. You can have both. You can have those images of you being like whatever, the best version of yourself. And you can also have a true representation. The person seeing the pictures can make up their mind, because they'll still like seeing you in this elevated state. They might know, okay, she might not be that. But still, I don't really have the great answer to that, because on one level, it's all about getting on the date. Do whatever you can to get on the date. Once you're on the date, you are who you are.
Yeah, what I find compelling about you, Jon, is you're challenging binary thinking about authenticity versus artifice. In our digital culture, we often associate authenticity with rawness, with the unfiltered, but your approach suggests something more nuanced, that technical excellence can be in service to authenticity as distinct from being opposed to it. It reminds me of the Japanese concept of Shizen. I don't know if you've heard of Shizen.
I've heard the word, but I don't know what it is.
It means naturalness. It's not like ISO or aperture, but it's often referenced in aesthetic photography, especially within Japanese and Zen influenced art forms. Shizen refers to naturalness, spontaneity, harmony with nature. It's capturing subjects in an uncontrived and organic way that reflects a deeper harmony with the world. It's an unforced composition. This concept of Shizen naturalness is achieved through careful intention rather than absence of effort. I think in many ways this parallels challenges we face in all areas of modern life, how to remain genuine in contexts that seem to demand performance, or how to reconcile our authentic selves with professional requirements, or how to be real in environments designed for idealization. Your work suggests these tensions can be harmonized rather than resolved through compromise. To me, you're not just practicing authentic photography, you're teaching it, committed to sharing what you've learned with both photographers and business professionals. You have this intuitive gift and a craft that can be developed and refined. You're talking about your upcoming course. Does that provide actionable methods to elevate visual communication strategies and specific techniques behind what might otherwise seem like ineffable moments of connection.
So the concept is we don't have to rely on that just happening. And some photographers think of getting this kind of depth with the right kind of banter and actually the kind of work that you do. That you're really good at what you do, especially the fact you would have a session beforehand, of really finding a way to know the person. Some people think that you need either that level of working on a deep level with somebody or just random happenstance that somehow something happened and it was, oh my God, I captured the depth. It's a system. I have a system in place that makes it so it's not random, it's conscious. You can choose to have depth surprisingly easily. You don't have to be that deep kind of guy that you are, Peter. You don't have to be that person that just knows. You don't even have to be a people person. There's stuff you can do to initiate response, and there's simple things to do, but the end result, it's depth because you're bringing a person to a true moment just for a second, then capturing it. Part of the system is how to capture it. There are easy systems. Anybody can add this to their repertoire. I have a few different courses. There's one course for singles, and actually I partnered with this celebrity matchmaker in Toronto. She actually teaches people how to do online dating. It's called end swiping. And I teach people how to take better pictures for themselves. Sometimes it's through selfies, sometimes it's partnering up with a friend, but how to capture those moments of truth easily. There are just easy ways of doing it. It doesn't have to be too hard. Then I have a course. It's really not complete yet, but really speaking to the healing part of it. It's almost like that's a new thing for me. Like I really want to scream that to the world and not hide it. That, oh, by the way, you can heal somebody. It's like I'm embracing that for myself now, how dear to me that possibility is. I have a course that I'm going to be teaching. It could be good for people in the healing industry and photographers that might care about that. Then there's one on how to capture genuine smiles. There's a big course for professional photographers that really want to go to this next level and to be able to capture this, primarily to make photos work better. When you have this, you can sculpt a particular personality. There is a way you can sculpt to the best way possible the actual personality of your subject so the photo will do its job and not just be a pretty image, which is usually what photographers mostly care about. They're not going this next level to serve their clients. Honestly, my caring is to redefine the industry for photographers to get. There is a next level, and that next level is possible and easy to accomplish. It's valuable to your client. If you don't do it, you're selling them short if you're not adding the second level to your photography, especially to make the photo actually do its job. If they're hiring for you, they're not hiring for you to get a pretty picture. They're hiring you because they need help in their marketing to propel their business forward. If you don't know how to do that, then you're selling them short.
So what's next for you in this exploration of authentic expression and its transformative power?
Hope you don't mind me keep on saying you asked such good questions, Michael. Peter, okay. That's part of my superpower, honestly, is just noticing wonderfulness in people. And that's just who I am. It's interesting. I get to do this in my photography. I get to teach other people how to do that too. What I'm doing is I'm giving photographers an opportunity to see their own clients differently, or for their own clients to have an opportunity to see themselves differently and to see their own wonderfulness as much as they can. It's cool that I just had this opportunity. But I just love noticing something and sharing with somebody, and I'm seeing your smile. It's a true smile, and you're receiving that from me. I'm really grateful that you're the kind of person that would be able to receive that, because most people, often it's hard to receive compliments. I'm in Costa Rica right now. I was on this mission of accomplishing this new journey of how I'm bringing this out to this world. And I'm going to be leaving in a week or so to go back to Massachusetts. On a practical level, the journey is over, but it's still going to be continuing there. It's figuring out who my clients are, who my avatar is, who would want this. It's an evolution to figure that out. On one level, I want to speak to those persons just like me, photographers who love photography, transform somebody. Like, are you kidding me? Tell me how to do it, Jon, please. I get to have that too as I'm doing this thing I love so much. I would love to share what I have for people eager to talk with me. Also, that's one level, one avatar. The other avatar is somebody almost the opposite. Could be like a nerd kind of person, not a people person, but they know how important capturing authenticity is. They're not that kind of guy, but they know it's important. You don't have to be a people person. It's a simple system. You just do this stuff. At the end is that depth. And when somebody sees that depth, they will think you are that kind of epic photographer. But guess what? It's an easy system to capture this important depth that really is what makes the photo do its job. You get to do that with a very simple system. That's also where I'm going. I'm creating two like pathways of different people and or the new photographer that there is, oh yeah, I really get it. I love that yumminess. But man, it only just happens randomly every once in a while. I wish I could learn how to just do it each and every time for you too. That's where I'm going.
Where can people find you? And do you have any parting words?
Getreal.photos, I think, will get you to various things that are available for me. So when you get this, it will be working. Getreal.photos. And we'll have the different offerings. One of the offerings really is if you're a potential client in some kind of industry where you are the person. It's all about the healer, the coach, the therapist, the teacher, anything, roofer, or even lawyer. But you want your image to have that power. But how do you find somebody? One, you could work with me, but I might be expensive to hire. Another option is I can actually help you find somebody and even train them a little bit near you so that we can find somebody near you that could be a perfect match and deliver this element of beautiful truth. If you are a client, that's an option. There's going to be a place to get in touch with me. And if you're a photographer and want to see if you can expand this, have a conversation with me too, or you can sign for one of the courses. And if you're a healer, I would love to talk with you too, because I would love to see how this could be used. You asked me the final words. Here's the final words. The phrase is like, what's possible? There's something within camera-aware photography, like headshots, portraits, when the subject is aware of your presence. There's such magic that's possible in so many different directions. I want to have a paradigm shift in the photography industry to allow us to consider what's possible with authenticity. If authenticity is embraced and brought into the session, who knows what's possible? That's what I really care about. And that's what my last words are.
Beautiful. It's been a fascinating conversation, Jon, and we've explored territory that goes far beyond lighting techniques and camera settings. What you shared today speaks to fundamental questions of identity, perception, healing, and connection. And in many ways, authentic photography, your practice, serves as a metaphor for the kind of relationships as human beings we all crave, ones where we are accepted fully and reflected back to ourselves in ways that honor our complexity, whether we find ourselves behind the camera, in front of it, or simply navigating a world of images. There's wisdom here about the courage it takes to be genuinely seen and the transformative power of authentic recognition. So I want to thank you, Jon, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. Your approach to photography reminds us that beneath the technical aspects of any art form lies something more profound. This is the ability to connect with and illuminate the human experience. You've shown us that a photograph, its best, isn't just a record of appearance, but a mirror that reflects our most authentic selves back to us. Thank you, Jon.
Thank you, Peter. This was really wonderful. And you're really great.